Well, oh man, what you got there? Is that the snare from that we were talking about in the last episode? Uh,
Yeah, Civil War snare, and like I'm trying to do the flaps, like put the flap
yeah,
strap in the thing, but it like keeps slipping out. So I'm trying to like double or triple it over
yeah.
and see if it'll, hold on for dear life. I don't
Hmm.
know, man. It's just this is why I never mess with it because you just run into all these like little roadblocks that you have to come up with fixes for, along the way. I mean, so that, I cleaned off like the rims and put the heads, put some new heads on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the hardware portion is just it's not working.
Hmm.
It's like, so when I put the strainer itself now works, but when I flip it up, it's like the little crappy cord, this thing slips. So
Yeah.
let me see if
I'm.
so I like tripled it
God, I
up.
mean, I think the last time that I adjusted mine was maybe 30 years ago. No, maybe about 27 or 28 years ago. But maybe it was 30 years ago. Just haven't touched it. But I remember, messing with those a lot, like before 30, like from 30 years ago and back, 30 to 35 years ago. And it was, I mean, I can't even picture them anymore because, I just don't care about new drum stuff, so I just kind of got what I liked a long time ago and am just okay with that. And I'm not excited about new drum sets. Obviously don't excite me whatsoever. So I haven't
No,
gotten
yeah.
anything and haven't had to deal with it really. But I remember something about, um, is it a thing like, like with backpacks, the backpack threading where it's like you got to go in and out and then back, like that. I mean, are there some that are like dual uh thing, that
I,
hold it in two places or
I'll just throw out the term Boy Scout shit, and I wasn't a Boy Scout. I don't know how to tie a knot very well. And like when I learn to fly airplanes, you know, I got these weird lessons from the old guys. They're because when you park your airplane out somewhere, you have to tie it down so it doesn't blow away.
nice.
So then you feel a little bit of pressure when you're like, okay, I need to get this knot right. So you're like, you do that half hitch and then a couple of twists, another half hitch, and then there's some like leverage way to
Yeah.
slip the knot down and all that stuff. And it's the same thing, but a micro version with how to, how to secure your snares.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess it's just maybe I should just take a little bit of time and figure that kind of stuff out. But I did it just now, and it sounds like it's going to work. But that's the way it sounded, when I first put them on, and then I was like, I was just trying to lay into it and kind of seat the head in there by playing it really hard, and then five snare hits in, I'm just hearing boom, boom,
Uh,
boom. He's like, dude. So anyway.
uh,
How you doing, man?
man, I'm doing okay. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Man, I guess I'm I'm not I got I was excited about getting about listening to I was just telling you about listening to the that Branford Marsalis album Crazy People Music, which
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember liking a lot. Um and so, I listened to it, for the first time in a long time. And I mean, it sounds great, but it just, I mean, I haven't gotten all the way through it yet, but it's just like, I started getting like a sinking feeling about Branford for some reason. It was like really bumming me out. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, do am I is do I kind of not like Branford? What
You mean
what's going on here?
as a person or as a
I
musician?
don't know, maybe both.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah.
mean, I love, he sounds, but then I was just, I haven't fully developed it, but I'm thinking like, well, maybe I just like him, I like him in on Wynton's albums. And then, I like certain songs he does, but kind of like I've said in another one of our talks that I'm realizing that about 30 years ago when I was more into that 25, 30 years ago, like my thinking was like Branford is more consistent, but Wynton is not. And then now listening back, it's like those good period Wynton albums are really solid, just like where you just want to listen to every song, or pretty much like every song, to one degree or another. But Branford stuff is like, man, feels more hit and miss, I mean, the reason it's depressing is because, it's just like I've got this long list of musicians I don't like, and especially sax players. Um, and it's just depressing thinking like, am I like, am I turning on Branford? You know, I have more to say, but do you got anything at this point?
I am looking something up because that triggered when you said that, that triggered in me what I like what I relate Wynton and Branford, or who I relate Wynton and Branford to, and I got it.
Okay.
So so Wynton is it is Wynton is Queen Elizabeth, and and uh and Branford is, you know, Princess Margaret or whatever, the Queen of England's like wild sister. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you like you're really interested in her life, but she's going to be the loose cannon, where Wynton where Wynton is like he's prim and proper. He's going to do
Yeah.
it. He's gonna do it with a royal, you know, with a royal attitude. Where
Yeah. Man, I
Branford,
love it. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
Branford's gonna wear the sexy outfit, and that's a bit inappropriate, and have everybody talking about the sexy outfit.
You know,
Yeah,
yeah, I like that. And going and I mean, I don't want to jump ahead too much, but let's just throw out the name Buckshot LaFunk,
yeah, right.
which,
That's
I feel like, I don't know how, I mean, I know that I know that I've been in a CD store in the late 90s and, saw it, took it up to the CD player with the Sony headphones, and listened to it and didn't like it. But I can't remember, I don't, nothing, I can't remember anything about it other than like, I don't think I like this, and it just seems really stupid. Um, and so I have a YouTube window pulled up in the background. I mean, for us, if we want to at some point, do a
okay.
share screen and like just look up. I don't have anything picked out. I'm just like, let's
Okay.
just blindly go at it.
And so if you want to do that, you can. And I'm gonna stick on my analogy of of
Princess Margaret.
because I love what I either watch or listen to super boring documentaries usually as I'm trying to go to sleep. It just soothes me, so I've seen enough of Queen Elizabeth and the Princess Margaret dynamic and stuff to
God,
have like, so
I don't know. I don't
what
know
I'm
anything about that. I don't know anything. I have no.
well, here's the deal. Like Princess Margaret ended up like marrying a a photographer, like a I think in the 60s, like a bisexual photographer that was like, taking pictures of her, like, oh, just, it just opened her up. Oh, look sexy and this and that. And she was like, yes, yes. And, and then they ended up getting married and, like, and, having weird 60s bisexual funky sex stuff go on. Right. Meanwhile, the Queen of England is the sister and who is obviously disapproving of the behavior, but that bisexual love affair and shit of Princess Margaret's is Buckshot LaFunk. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't even know what Buckshot LaFunk sounds like, but
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
that's what it's gonna
Yeah.
be to me,
I mean,
whether it's
that's what he's capable of, and so just listening to his, I'm listening to his playing and stuff, and it's just like, yeah, there's it's like he almost has too much of a playful nature. I mean, it's like he uses the command of his instrument to just, goof, goof off a little bit too much, to where it doesn't, you
right.
know, like, he starts like honking around and just like doing the, what do you call it, the multiphonics, high shit, where it's like you're not really playing. It's like, I mean, where you're like your the voice cracking sax thing. What's that
Yeah.
called? What is that called? Just a side note.
We'll have to ask Dave Williams
Yeah,
what
well,
the
just,
technical
he
term.
starts doing that, and it just seems like, you know, just somebody who's just in command and playing around with it, but not
Totally.
like, but in a, I don't want to say academically playing. But I mean, I just I don't want to. I mean, I feel like I don't want to just like, try to rip him apart or whatever.
It
But
well, okay. Even my okay. So I sent you that stuff with Branford and Kenny Kirkland and Lewis Nash playing it like in the 90s, playing at the Newport. Like
yeah,
it was either Newport or some other
yeah,
jazz or Montreux. It was one of those two, or
Newport. It
maybe
was
even
Newport.
okay. And it was like I think it starts out with the band's late already. So this is Princess Margaret, late for the state dinner and shit. She's walking in late, but looking pretty, looking like cool. You're just
Yeah,
like, oh, she's late, but that's cool because she's who she is. She's not on time early with the full band Wynton. She's sauntering in to the Newport Jazz Festival, and Branford's late because he was hanging out on the beach too long. You know what I mean? It wasn't a late flight. It was like he was, having some shrimp down by the, Captain's Cove boardwalk, and he was like, oh yeah, it's time, man, it's time to go. But then he gets up there and he's like wearing a hat. He's like, sorry we're late. And then they start the thing, and he's like, he looks and sounds so cool and relaxed. It's amazing. I mean, it's like he's just, I mean, he's playing, and there's no thought of the fact that he was late only works for him in that situation. He's like,
yeah,
I'm late, but here it is, and you waited for it, but you want it, and I'm gonna give it to you, and it's relaxed and it's good. Kenny Kirkland just all over the place. Lewis Nash just everything is just it's just popping hard, and it makes up for the irreverence that he has for it. So I don't know how Buckshot LaFunk plays into that. Again, I want to say that's the bisexual stuff,
yeah.
or weird sexual stuff.
And I thought I could pull it up. I mean, have it in my head and kind of hum it, but I'm having a hard time pulling it up. But it's like, the second or third song on Crazy People Music is like, I want to call it like, um, it's kind of like New Orleans, like a modern new traditional jazz take on New Orleans music or something. I mean,
Okay.
a little bit of monk sounding, it's just like, again, it's like a playful thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's like people who quote the wrong things when in their solos, um
Yeah, 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 yeah.
like then they go into the cool, it's that kind of, I mean, which I feel like maybe Freddie Hubbard does that, but I'm thinking of some,
That's
yeah.
what I was. No, that's what I was talking about the other day when we were watching that Joey DiFrancesco thing with the with the with the keyboard player, and it's like what he's quoting it to. In my mind, it's the baseball theme anthem, like da 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 da. Da, da,
Yeah.
da, 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 and you're just like, I see that you're quoting something, and I see that you're modulating that quote, and it's a motif, and you're developing that motif, but nobody stopped to say, hey, the motif that you're quoting and developing is the baseball anthem. It doesn't have anything to do with, it's just like da 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 da. It's just what you can't you can do that, and that in itself is a thing, but it doesn't fit in the context of what's happening with the music.
God. Dave, I mean, maybe we should just stop this video because, the reason why I was like laughing a second ago so hard is because I realized that the song that I hummed was Dixie. It was like the Dukes of Hazzard, General Lee horn.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, which is, Branford would never fucking quote.
No, no,
I
he
mean,
wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. It's
um,
a
I think I was trying to think of Popeye the Sailor Man, but came up with whatever the name of that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. We'll replace it with that then.
yeah. Anyway, so yeah, he's anyway, it's just something about it is just like it's like the person who quotes the wrong thing that, it's just like like doing it. I mean, he's into it, but also kind of checked out. I don't know. And the slower songs are kind of just tend to kind of meander too much. I realize like his slow tunes are not as quite as good as his brother's slow tunes. I mean, I can get into those. I mean, but there's something good about it. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just I don't know. I hate that I put on these Branford albums and it's like, you got Yes or No off of Random Abstract, and I mean it's great, and then it's just like kind of there's a couple uphill moments out, later on in the album, but it just, I don't know. And then I don't know. What do you think about? I mean, it just, so I don't know what else I have to say about his playing other than it just seems to, I don't want to say contrived, but um what am I
Or
trying to say?
even better, man, even better. Like back to Princess Margaret. Um, Even better than Buckshot LaFunk. I'll go with Sting. You know what I mean? Like you didn't see Wynton, like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'd like to go ahead and
Or
play some.
The Tonight Show gig either. I mean, that
Yeah, yeah,
was,
right,
yeah.
right, right. It's
He's got,
it's
yeah, he's got a stupid element there. I mean, there's
well,
a,
he's got a popular fame element. Like
yeah.
I'm gonna make this soprano sax, sexy.
I'm glad you said that because because I think it helped me kind of define my thoughts a little bit more. Like that, he knows how to do the good stuff, but he's interested in the other junk, that he could get into, and
Because he can.
that kind of corrupts his creative spark a bit. It doesn't ruin it, but like I was, that video that well, that we were watching recently, that that one I sent you, and where was it? Maybe it was at Montreux. It was like, yeah, it was from 1990, and it was like Branford walks off the stage, and then Kenny Kirkland and Tane are just like going nuts, and
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Robert
Yeah. Yeah.
Hurst
Yeah. Yeah.
is he's going nuts as well. And that's like the best part. It's like they just take it way out and it sounds really cool. And then they just start swinging hard, and then they, kind of take it out again and then start swinging. Then Branford walks back on and they do the head, or kind of get back into the head. And it's, it's just like, I don't know. I guess whenever he's on stage, it just kind of like dips a bit for me. I don't know.
I well, I mean, it sometimes can for me too. Okay, it can dip in the way that I feel like sometimes he's disinterested. Like it goes from so relaxed that it goes to disinterested in
Hmm.
having to do what he's doing. You know what I mean? I mean, like, but
Yeah.
then, but the band, Kenny and Tane and stuff, they're interested.
Yeah.
They stay interested in it. So it's like having a little bit of a too cool for school guy, but still good, and he knows he's got the shit, and he can blow it out there. But then too cool for school walks off, and it takes a little bit of the pressure off of the guys that are just they're just hungry for the hurricane. They're just
Yeah.
like, to keep
Yeah.
themselves interested. They're just like,
Yeah.
they're looking for what to consume. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. That's a
they
great way
get
to
to
put it.
do that. They do that. They chew on it and get all that stuff, going. And then the disinterested, but still awesome and relaxed guy comes back, nonchalantly plays the head, and then they go on to the next thing,
Ooh, I
which,
like the non I like that nonchalant head thing. um I feel like I'm always clicking on something, and this is a total exaggeration, but I feel like I'm always clicking on him quoting, doing a Coltrane quote. Um, it just he like takes it, steps
yeah.
out, it's like he doesn't do it exactly. It's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I'm like, God,
Booty boo,
I don't
booty
want to hear him
boo,
do that anymore.
booty boo, booty boo, booty boo. It
Yeah.
like he'll flop the melody
Yeah, and
around it like
his
that.
tone like gets really harsh, like Coltrane's. It's like what I don't like about Coltrane. He just like starts doing that shit, almost like, I mean, do you know that that's his? I mean, I guess that's his tone, and you're just you're aping the tone as well.
Well, yeah, I mean it's a nod to
What's up?
it's
Hang
a
on, I got a 6-year-old. What happened, Mushy? Oh, it's right on the edge of the laundry table, right there next to the box. There's like lots of underwear right there. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so like it's a nod when Branford does it, it's a nod, to Coltrane, or maybe even Joe Henderson sometimes, or some other, like stuff that that
Yeah,
he's it's a nod and a wink and a salute, but it's a little irreverent still. It's like, you know, it's
it's a little
it's
too
doing
knowing. It's a little. I
it's
mean,
a
it's
little
like, of
too
course,
right, right.
the essence of quoting is knowing, but it's just like too much. It's
Right.
just like too
It's not
supercharged or something.
it's not this, but it's as if it's a little bit tongue in cheek, almost making fun of it. Not making fun of it, but bringing the attention to, I can do this too,
Yeah,
but what is missing is sometimes, to me, is like the depth of the lead up to that, you know to the screechy sound. You just pop into the screechy sound instead of having the reason to get there. You know, it's
Yeah,
the same. It's the
right.
same thing you were
Yeah,
saying. It's the quote that is sort of the quote that's a little bit out of context. You know, you have to have the
yeah,
context is everything.
yeah.
But his relaxedness and whatever he did, even if it's exactly what we were saying, I mean, whatever that dynamic is, it makes the band, whether it's Lewis Nash or Tane, and either way, it's going to be Kenny Kirkland and, you know, whatever, Bob Hurst. I mean, it just makes that fire amazing. You know what I mean? It just makes the, whatever the dynamic has to be, whether it's like sarcastic or too relaxed or too cool for
Yeah,
school from him, it still makes the group like, God dang, man, they're just fire all the
yeah,
time, you know.
yeah. I guess yeah. And he goes, yeah, and then obviously he's a little too interested in the trio, the horn trio aspect,
Without the chords, you mean?
without the piano.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
dude.
that it gets on my nerves, and just I don't know. It's just like just a certain kind of playfulness. Like, hey, you know, where I'm without a piano player, I can giddily play around here. But it's just like too, I don't know, I don't like the kind of playfulness that it is. I feel like, where Kenny Garrett, when he does trio stuff, I feel like I still don't love it, but it seems more intense or serious, or like, I think that's a good, like an irreverence. Just, he's got a certain irreverence for what he's doing. I mean, in general, but he doesn't. It's like he doesn't, but he can't help it. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I mean, like we've talked about this before, but it's hard to be the player in a situation without the piano player, you know, just bass, drums, and sax, or with me and Dave, it's just bass and sax, and it's super hard. But it all depends on how much you trust the imaginary players in your head. You
Mm,
know, you've got to have those imaginary, I mean, you know, when you're just playing with a drums and a melodic instrument, I mean, it's so limited if you're just playing with each other and not imagining stuff. You're just playing figures and like melodic phrases and stuff. But the bass and piano that are in your head, that's where the bombs come in. That's where the big, you know, the big fourths and the big, you know, swells of just boom, you know, that kind of stuff. That's
yeah.
if that has to be in my head if it's not actually here. I mean, in order
Man,
for
that's a
me to
great point. Because that's what gets you amped up.
right in not in a micro way, but in a macro way. It's like that's what the big waves and
Yeah.
phrases are just like you're just waiting for that low piano, you know, bomb dropper shit. Yeah. Fuck. I mean, that's what you're
Yeah.
waiting for. And
Yeah.
what you're trying to do with the whole rest of the thing is get the piano player to say, okay, fuck it, I'm doing it right now. Boom. You know, like, okay, we've had enough of this. We've had enough. There's enough playing around, everybody. I'll show you where, you know, I'll show you what's about to
Yeah.
happen.
And
That's
then,
what you,
oh
yeah.
man. And what I love about Kenny Kirkland is like when he does that shit, then he'll start doing the like the low and mid range playing, and then like when it starts tapering out, he'll just start doing like a cascading, like a high melody, I mean, just like kind of like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
by itself, and it just really, I mean, it just like sets it off, I mean, it's just it's a perfect
And
situation.
Marcus Roberts does it too or he did back then, just
Yeah.
in a perfect way. Like, you know, he'll stop playing he'll stop playing the chords and he'll start playing what would kind of sound like a funk bass line on the piano, just like just, you know, low down b- melodic bass phrases, you know, or like that's him like loading the bazooka, When you hear that, you're like, and then the bomb, and then Tane and everybody and the bass player just, that's
Yeah.
is all gravy after that.
Yeah.
It's the tension of loading up that low fourths
Oh
bomb.
man. Yeah, which is, the opposite of good old Bill Evans, who's got the glued thumbs together and just can't. It's like he can't get any separation. We're down to 9 minutes. Should we try to fish around for a Buckshot LaFunk live thing? Or I mean,
Yeah, I'll tell you what. And as you're looking for it, I'll show the camera and you the snare drum that I've been working on. I meant to show this the other day because I
okay.
had unzipped it and got it out. It's the one it's Civil War depth, and all the lugs are like crusty, about to fall apart, rusty as they could possibly be. Okay, I think you did it. But
Um,
so now you probably can't see the snare drum.
oh yeah, there we go.
Okay, go ahead and play your.
Okay.
Let me see what this thing sounds like now that I just put it back together. Okay, sounds good. Can you hear that?
No, sadly. Come on.
You can't hear it?
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. No, this is so stupid. No, man. I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on here with the audio here. I mean, it's crazy. It's like, why does your voice? Yeah, I just don't understand what's making it. Okay, another day. Looks, I don't know. It's saying another day. I don't know if that's like supposed to be their. Oh, Jesus.
No, there.
Right
Go to
here?
the third one down. Third one down.
This one?
Yeah, where you see third one. Yeah, that one where you see Brand. Yeah.
Okay.
Live on.
I mean, or should we just go
Let's
for
check it out.
the second one looks pretty bad. I mean, do we
4 years ago.
should we just go for
Okay, go for it. Yeah,
what's the
go for
worst?
it.
Okay.
Go for it.
Let me see here.
I've never heard any of this.
Yeah.
PS. I've never
I
heard of
mean,
it.
I can't imagine it being any good at all.
It's kind of like when Roy Hargrove got off into funk stuff too.
The home of the legendary scents of the Old Spice
Jesus
Wild.
Christ.
I don't know. Yeah.
I get some lagging.
We need a media,
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, you're
to
right.
pull this stuff
There we
up.
go. Okay, what's happening here? It's so bad. Oh well. Hey, I guess.
Well, you still can't see this.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, oh my God. Jesus.
Well, that's enough.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hang on. Let me. Okay. Should we do the second one?
I mean,
Oh Jesus! Come on. It's not doing what I want it to. Oh my God. Is that John Cleese on viola? I'm sorry, cello.
Yeah, I knew what you meant on viola.
Yeah. Okay, here's got another music level. Let's find just one more that's like.
I wanted that one something that's like, yeah, go ahead.
Look at that.
Live.
That's the face. This is the face of
I want live. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it has to be live because there's copyright bullshit. But oh boy. Okay, sorry about this. It's gonna take a
Get into
second.
the middle. Just click into the middle of it.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Snap into place any day there. There we go. Oh boy.
Back in the days when I was just a little lad, man, I had strife and tribulations of life coming from my dad. Bad trauma was my mama trauma. Just became an everyday lifestyle child. And meanwhile, thousands of tips placement.
Enough.
Of any fiction from one room basement.
Oh my
That's
God.
enough. That's enough. That's enough. I mean, I guess it's just, there was some stuff happening in the 90s that, I don't know, I want to say like Brand New Heavies and some other like just medium jazz funk stuff. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I mean it's I guess it's somewhat on par, but I mean the fact that he went there, I mean at least
Well,
he might have gone to the snare dribble, but
yeah, no. And next time I know we're gonna have to wind this up, but at some point we have to talk about Knower and Lewis Cole and Snarky Puppy and Dirty
need to get
Lewis.
Jordan in for that one.
Yeah, I mean, more opinions the better. I mean, there's a lot to be discovered there. Oh, and before we go, look, so I'm done. So here's the inside of this. And I don't know if you can see where it was right here.
Yeah.
Where the thing just broke off. I don't know what I did with it, but it just, the little donut thing just broke off. But this thing, I did it. I drilled another hole so I can do that with one hand.
Awesome, man.
And this thing doesn't go wah, 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 wah,
Wow. Congratulations. It looks great.
You see those lugs, like look at that, look at all that.
Wow. Yeah.
Just corroded.
I can see the hair. I can see the I can see the hair on it.
It's like, I get so scared when I'm cranking down on it that it's just gonna snap in half. And then be like lodged in the inside or something.
Anyway, well, I guess that's pretty much, I love the Princess Margaret analogy. That's amazing. Thank you. I'm so glad you just came up with that.
I'm glad that came up. Yeah, because it helps me with the royal, regal Wynton, and then the, irreverent, sassy sister.
All right, man. Well, I guess let's just end it, and we'll pick up next time. Okay.
See you, man.
Bye.
Bye.